Hi, everybody. I wanted to take an opportunity to spend some time to talk a bit about the second project for applied history, which is the historical analysis essay. And so this presentation is designed to just go over the main components of that assignment. So for project one, you identified your research topic, you described its historical significance, you identified relevant sources, and you developed a research question. For project two, you're going to kind of build upon what you did on project one by illustrating the impact of historical thinking on personal and professional experiences, selecting maybe more relevant primary and secondary sources to help you investigate some of these events, communicate effectively to specific audiences, and examining fundamental aspects of human history, utilizing historical evidence and drawing conclusions about the impact of historic events on American society, and applying key approaches to studying history and addressing critical questions related to historical narratives and perspectives. So for modules 5 to 8, which you've been working on, you compose your introduction and revise your thesis statement. And so the thesis statement is something that you worked on a little bit earlier in the week, earlier in the course. And now you are kind of fine-tuning that. And so you should have received feedback on your thesis statement. And really that should be developed from your research question, and it should be something that's arguable. So you're making some kind of claim about your event that you then are going to prove in your body paragraphs with supporting evidence. So in week 6, you're developing those body paragraphs, explaining the cause of the event, tracing its course over time, determining its consequences, and you're referencing historical evidence from your sources in this analysis. And then finally, you're going to conclude your paper by describing why the event is personally significant, illustrating how your research impacted your perspective, and discussing how a historian may pursue further research of the topic. So this is the rubric, and please carefully look it over before you submit your final paper in week 8. So the main components here are your introduction, where you're providing an overview of your event, your thesis statement, your body paragraphs, your conclusion, your reference list, of course, cited in APA, and your message. I'm going to go through each of those in a little bit more detail. So in the introduction, you're giving really an overview. So you want to start off sort of broad and narrow it down to your thesis. Your last sentence of your introduction should be your thesis statement. It should be easily identifiable, and it should be what you essentially are going to keep coming back to in each of your body paragraphs. So you're making some kind of claim about your event, and then all the evidence that you're using from your research is going to support the claim that you're making in your thesis. For your body paragraphs, you're doing a lot. So you're describing the causes of the event, sort of what were these underlying factors that led to it. You are illustrating the course of the event. So you're basically telling your story or a narrative of what your event or your topic is. Who are the important participants? What did they do? How do the perspectives of the key participants differ? And then you're describing the immediate. So what happened as a result, kind of right away, and then long-term consequences. What happened maybe years or decades later of this event for American society? So how does it impact American society in some way? And then, of course, you're incorporating all of your evidence from your research. So you should have internal citations in these paragraphs that support your conclusions. In the conclusion, you're sort of tying everything together. So why is this historical event important to you personally? Why did you select it? How did your research impact the way you thought about the event? Did it open your eyes to sort of new ways of looking at the topic that maybe you hadn't previously considered? And then what are some other areas that a historian may research this topic further? So sort of going off what your original thesis was, maybe what's a different historical lens that could be used to research your topic? So please make sure that when you're writing your conclusion for that part, that you are hitting on each of these aspects as well. You want to make sure that you have a full reference list that includes all of the primary and secondary sources you use to investigate your historical event. Any in-text citations should be derived from those references as well. Please make sure that you're formatting your paper according to APA guidelines, because that's what we're using in this class. And you want to make sure you're communicating your message in a way that's tailored to your specific audience. So whoever you're trying to address with your research, you want to make sure that that's clear. So consider your vocabulary, your audience's potential current knowledge of the historical events or lack thereof, and what is specifically important to your audience. For the format of your paper, it should adhere to these requirements. So it should be 4 to 6 pages in length, double spaced, 12-point Times New Roman font, 1-inch margins. And then again, you should use current APA style guidelines for your citations and your reference list. So that's it. Each of those topics or categories on the rubric goes into some more specifics. So again, my recommendation is that you just carefully make sure that you're looking over that rubric, that you're looking at the feedback that I gave either directly on your paper, in the rubric, or in the overall comment, and you're incorporating that into your revisions. So you are currently working on your week 6 assignment. So you have in module 7, you're submitting almost a full draft of your paper, and then your final draft will end up submitted in week 8 at the end of this class. And we're getting there very quickly at this point. So if you have any specific questions to your work, please don't hesitate to reach out, and good luck in your final weeks of this class.